Good morning, students. Today's class we'll see about some of the minor disorders of pregnant means newborn. Minor disorder means a disorder which does not need any medical treatment. Neonatal health problems are frequently found ranging from a minor physical or physiological peculiarities to the serious life-threatening illness. Minor problems should not be ignored lightly without adequate assessment of the conditions. Early diagnosis and management of serious problems help to overcome lifelong disability and to reduce neonatal morbidity and mortality. Nurses are responsible to manage the minor problems and to detect the serious problems for early and prompt management along with appropriate nursing interventions and support to the mother. First one is vomiting. Vomiting on the first day due to irritation of the stomach by swallowing the amniotic fluid. Vomiting soon after feed is due to faulty technique of feeding. The proper advice regarding feeding and burping must be imparted to all mothers. If vomiters persist for longer, it leads to some other conditions. Second, failure to pass meconium and urine. Healthy babies must void within 24 hours of the age. Babies pass black stools during the first 2 to 3 days of life, followed by greenish stools for next 1 to 2 days. Non-passage of meconium should be informed to the physician or other healthcare professionals. Constipation. Babies on cow's milk formula are often constipated due to hard casein curds. Constipation is the best managed by giving frequent breastfeeding. The laxative should be avoided. Diarrhea. The breastfed babies develop increased frequency of stool if the mother is taking ampicillin, cephalosporins, tetracyclines, certain laxatives, and following excessive consumption of foods with high organic acid content such as oranges, cherries, tomatoes, and chilies. The intake of large quantities of glucose water and honey by the baby may result in diarrhea. Diarrhea may also occur due to overfeeding or serious underfeeding. Physiological jaundice. Physiological jaundice appears on the second day of birth, reaches peak on the fourth or fifth day, and disappears by 8 to 10 days. The best management for physiological jaundice is exposing baby to the sunlight for about 10 to 20 minutes. If necessary, phototherapy can be given. While exposing baby to sunlight, baby's eyes and perineal area should be covered. Hiccups and sneezing. Hiccups are produced by spasmodic contractions of diaphragm and characterized by sudden, noisy, jerky retractions of suprasternal notch and ciphisternal region. It occurs usually immediately after a feed due to distension of stomach and irritation of diaphragm. Sneezing occurs due to irritation of the nostrils by secretions. It should be sucked out by mucus sucker or using a catheter. Fever. During summer months when environmental temperatures goes above 39 degrees Celsius, some healthy newborn babies may develop fever on the second or third day of life. We should be dressed with light and loose cotton clothes and environment should kept cool in summer. Excessive crying. Babies usually cry when they are hungry or discomfort. This may be due to unpleasant sensation of full bladder before passing urine, painful evacuation of hard stools, or mere soiling by urine and stool. The insect bite should be also kept in mind as an important cause of night crying. Oral thrush. The infection most commonly occurs during the passage of baby to the infected birth canal. Infected feeding bottle, contaminated breast nipples, and prolonged antibiotic therapy may also result in candidiasis. Oral lesions are characterized by discrete white patches or spots over the buccal mucosa and the gums. Baby may be able to suck normally, but swallowing may be difficult due to posterior oropharyngeal white patches. Oral application of 0.5% of junction violet after each feed gives prompt response in most cases. Excessive sleepiness. Some babies are kept their eyes closed most of the time during the first 48 hours. During the first few days, many infants go to sleep after taking only few sucks on the bottle or the breast. Baby should be kept aroused during the feed by tickling on the soles and behind the ears. Heavy maternal sedations during labor may associate with excessive sleepiness in the baby for the first 48 hours. Mastitis neonatorum. The enlargement of the breast occurs in full-term babies of both sexes on third or fourth day and may last for few days or even weeks. The lack of inactivation of progesterone and estrogen after birth due to immaturity of neonatal liver leads to the further rise in the levels, thus resulting in hypertrophy of the breast. The local massage fermentation should be curbed and mother is reassured. Vaginal bleeding. Development of menstrual-like withdrawal bleeding may occur about one-fourth of the female babies after 3 to 5 days of birth. Bleeding is mild, lasts for 2 to 4 days. Local aseptic cleaning or genitals is advised. Cadpis a boggy, diffuse edematous swelling of the soft tissues of the scalp over the presenting part. The swelling is present at birth and its size and severity is related to the duration of the labor. The swelling is pitting, non-fluctuant and not limited to sutures unlike cephalhematoma. It disappears spontaneously over the next few days. Cephalhematoma, a subperiosteal collection of blood secondary to injury during delivery. The swelling appears 2 to 3 days of birth. It is a fluctuant swelling and does not cross the suture line. It resolves spontaneously after a few days or weeks. Incision or aspiration is contraindicated unless it gets infected. Asymmetric head shape. Occiput or one of the parietal areas may become flat and bald. If the head size is normal, there is no cause for concern. Proper positioning of the head with support of soft pillows to ensure that prominent part of the head touches the cord leads to the gradual rounding of the head shape. Craniotabs. Softening of the skull bone which press like a table tennis ball is called craniotabs. Localized craniotabs may be normally seen due to in utero pressure of the skull against the mother's pubic bone. Sore buttocks and napkin rashes. Use of nylon or watertight plastic napkins and delay in changing the napkin cause redness, induration, and excoriation due to ammonical dermatitis. The bottom should be cleaned gently with a wet cotton and kept dry and exposed to air. Application of soothing ointments or coconut oil provides relief. Erythema toxicum. Erythematous rash with central pallor appearing on the second or third day in the term babies. The rash sat on the face and spread to the trunk and extremities in about 24 hours. It disappears spontaneously after 2 to 3 days without any specific treatment. Herculean color change. The baby suddenly becomes blanched and pale on one half of the body while the other half remains pink. The episodes of color change last for a few minutes and occur in normal babies due to unexplained vasomotor phenomena. Stalk bites. These are discrete pinkish gray spurs, capillary hemangioma, commonly located at the nape of the neck, under eyelids, forehead, and root of the nose. They invariably disappear after a few months. Some conjunctival hemorrhage. Semilunar us or the conjunctival hemorrhage located in the outer canthus is a common finding in normal babies. The blood gets absorbed after a few days without leaving any pigmentation. Subcutaneous fat necrosis. During the early newborn period, sometimes some babies develop subcutaneous fat necrosis as localized areas of induration without any inflammatory signs over the buttocks, back, and cheeks or limbs. There is no clinical significance and the condition resolves spontaneously. Tongue tie. It may be either in the form of a thin broad membrane or thick fibrous frenulum under the tongue with a notch at the tip of the tongue due to traction. The tongue tie interferes with sucking or delay in the development of speech. Genuine tongue tie may be snipped after 3 months if it is a source of anxiety to the parents. Acne neonatal. Typical acne lesions may be seen over the forehead, nose, and cheeks at birth in term babies. They occur due to transplacental passage of maternal androgens to the fetus. The skin lesions gradually diminish in size and disappear spontaneously within the next few days. Congenital hydrocele. A small sac containing fluid may be noticed one of the scrotal sacs at birth or in the first week of life. It disappears spontaneously during the first 3 months of life. Congenital teeth. The eruption of one or more lower incisor teeth before soon after birth is seen in 1 in 4,000 babies. The teeth may become loose and interfere with breastfeeding. There is a risk for spontaneous dislodgement with aspiration. It is advised to get the natal teeth extracted. Bowed legs. In normal babies, when the legs are extended, they form a concavity inverse due to the genivorous is giving an appearance of bowed legs. It is suggestive of rickets or bony deformity. After the first birthday, bowing of the legs is replaced by physiological knock knees. Umbilical hernia. When the cord is flattened off, the umbilical hernia may manifest after the age of 2 weeks or later. It may be associated with the decurvation recti. Most of this disappears spontaneously by 6 months to 1 year. Application of coin and bandage over the hernia is not recommended as it may further weaken the anterior abdominal wall. If there is associated conditions like excessive intra-abdominal pressure like excessive crying, constipation, persistent cough, etc. to be identified and managed properly. Thank you for listening.